Good day to all of you, to teachers and educators across Europe and other countries. Welcome at the October's edition of the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education. Today we have the 55th session, so quite a lot as we are doing this every month, every single month in a row of 4 years. My name is Blanca Tazer. I will be your host today, together with 5 presenters from different European countries. Let's see what awaits us today. So the first presentation is connected with the climate change, e-learning modules, digital climate action and impact measurement. Claudia and Karsten will show us the results of their project and useful results for teachers. The second presentation will be delivered by Natalija Palčić on financial literacy for students, which is also in a way connected with sustainability, and she will tell us how. The third presentation will be by Marija Todoroska, warming up teaching techniques and embracing constructivism. The fourth presentation comes from Romania on project-based learning and digital education, well-being through arts and communication. So very cross-curricular. Topic presented by Alina, Bălan. And in the end, we will see the results of one STEP Institute's Erasmus project on service design thinking for teachers. Aneja Tahirović is with us and she will present the outcomes. As usual, all the presentations are available for you to download them from the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education Facebook group. So here is the QR code if needed, but also in our follow-up email and in the reminder we set the link where you can find the group and download the presentations, because it's easier to follow if you have them in front of you. Always there is an open call for presenters to present their outcomes, their teaching practices in our event, in our platform. So here is the list of topic, and if you are interested in anything to present, please let us know or apply to an open call, which is available at the website erasmuspluscourses.com. So we are committed to peer learning, so it's very important that we have presenters that present us concrete teaching techniques, concrete tools which teachers can use in their work practice. All right, so this is the program. So now you know the topics, but I believe that you would like to meet the presenters as soon as possible. We will present them in the same order that they will present their topics. So the first topic will be the climate change. And welcome, Claudia and Karsten. You will have the first word. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Claudia.
Thanks, Blanca. Yeah, my name is Claudia Schury. I'm working for Climate Alliance for over 20 years now, mainly on the topics of education and awareness raising campaigns. So, yeah, I'm doing a lot for preschool and kindergarten children on a campaign called Green Footprints, which are running for over 20 years now as well. And it's running every year. So if we have any teachers for younger children, just feel free to contact me afterwards and I can tell you about that. But today we would talk about our cinnamon project. Maybe Carsten, you just want to introduce yourself and then we start the presentation.
Then we introduce all the others and then you start.
Oh, okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Good hint. Welcome from my side. My name is Carsten Kuhn. I'm also working for Climate Alliance as Claudia for now, I think, 15 years. Climate Alliance, we introduce the organization later on, which is a climate NGO based in Frankfurt. So we're both in Germany. And my working field is more or less helpful tools or campaigns for municipalities or in climate action or in evaluating climate concepts.
Thank you very much. That's great. And when you mentioned, Claudia, the preschool, actually our kindergarten in Vienna was part of the Austrian branch so very good to host you today.
Thank you.
So Natalija, you are our regular presenter, but nevertheless the participants are not the same always. So we would like to hear about you as well.
Yes, thank you for having me relatively often. I'm Natalija Palčić. I'm a high school teacher of politics and economics and civic education. I'm also regional coordinator for teacher trainings and Erasmus coordinator, and I'm a teacher advisor. This time I'm going to share one lesson that is from my practice, from my school practice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And Maria.
Hello.
Hello.
I'm Marija Todoroska. I'm coming from North Macedonia and I'm teacher of ethics in elementary school. I will discuss today about warm-up activities and links with constructivist theory. Hope it will be interesting. Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you. Alina from Romania.
Hello, I'm Alina Bălan. I'm a teacher of the Romanian language and literature, and I like to consider myself a lifelong learner. I think I also have a motto, an existential motto, something like this: never forget you can make a difference as long as you really believe that well-doing means well-being. Thank you, Blanca, for inviting me.
I think that all teachers, it would be very nice that all teachers would have this motto of lifelong learning. Thank you, Alina and Aneja.
Hello. So my name is Aneja Tahirović and I am one of the, let's say, workers at STEP Institute. I'm an external collaborator and I'm a freelancer. And basically the topics that I'm not a teacher, but I would consider myself an educator. The topics that I usually cover are entrepreneurship, circular economy, design thinking, and especially the youth sector and working with the youth. And today we are going to dive a little bit into service design thinking. So
that's absolutely perfect. We have 5 different countries, 5 different presentations, and a common topic, which is devotion to lifelong learning and professional development. So let's go now first to Carsten and Claudia with e-learning modules. They will introduce us. The stage is yours. I will remove all the others and leave you to your safe hands.
Yeah, thank you. We want to tell you a bit about. Oh, I have it. Oh, okay, now it's gone. we want to tell you about our Erasmus Plus project Cinnamon. For that, we developed 2 e-learnings, one more focusing climate communication and all kind of local climate action more on the municipal level, but still we think it's a lot into these e-learnings for teachers as well. And the other one is a bit more tricky. It's on impact measurement, so that's something you don't really go into deep with pupils normally, but still there are a lot of aspects that we think could be interesting for you. Carsten just said we are from Climate Alliance. Climate Alliance is a city network founded 1990, so we have quite some years behind us. And what's special about Climate Alliance is that we work together with indigenous peoples from the Amazon area from the very beginning. And so for us, it's very normal to discuss how to protect rainforests and how to protect the climate, but to think it on a very local level. So yeah, local climate action, but global thinking is something very deep into the DNA of Climate Alliance. In the Cinnamon project, we work together with some of our national coordinations of Climate Alliance. So there's Climate Alliance Germany, Austria, and Italy. Then reflex that are that do have the national coordination of Climate Alliance in Hungary. And as the more digital partner, we have Acarion, an Austrian IT company that focus on environmental projects. But today now I want to tell you a bit about the Cinnamon project. What was the idea behind Cinnamon? Knowledge on climate mitigation and climate adaptation is needed everywhere today. But it's not that easy to bundle it in with a clear focus on practical issues, especially if you talk about municipalities. And how can you make that accessible for many? Of course, digital. So we decided to make e-learnings and to make a toolbox including many climate action tools that I will introduce a bit later. But now we want to know a bit about you. Do you use digital tools that support your educational work on climate issues? Just tell us. Use the little survey we made with the Menti. I guess you know how to use the Menti. Blanca was so kind to put the link into the...
Yeah, so there are different ways to access the Menti. One is QR code, which you see. The other one is if you go to menti.com and type in that code. But I also put the link to the survey into the chat, so you can go directly from there.
Okay, thank you. Yeah,
and I will just switch slides so we can see start the presentation, so that you can all vote, but the informations are the same.
Yeah, we're very interested in if you use tools,
So
if you would like to let us know what tools, you could also put them into the chat. That would be very interesting to get to know the name or the link to the tool, whatever you want to tell us. Yeah.
But we see the thumbs raising flying in, so people are voting, and let's give them just a few seconds, and we can move on to the results, but I let the link and QR code open a moment.
One good thing is that teachers usually like topics connected with sustainability because they can easily integrate them in curricula. And I can say for the participants of this conference, I think that they also have a personal passion for those topics. So let's see the results, what we will get. But one barrier that we see often is that a lot of material is in English. You know, so then it's hard to use if you need to use the material in your own language because you
Yeah,
teach.
that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I can just tell you a bit about my other project, the Green Footprints, because there we have that problem as well. Because as we work with the schools and kindergartens, or preschools and kindergartens, and there we try to offer the materials in as many languages as possible. For Cinnamon, that wasn't really possible due to financial issues, but we have the e-learnings in English, German, Italian, and Hungarian. The least that many languages. But yeah, I know that's always a very important issue if you're talking about materials for education. Yeah. So, Carsten, would you like to say just a few words on the Menti?
Yes, we see most of you that voted here use digital tools related to climate. Some more or less sometimes, a lot of them also regularly. So I think the most part of the audience here is related to the topic and also related to digital tools. That's really nice.
Yeah, and I can just invite you again, if you have some tools that you would like to share with us, just put them in the chat. That would be cool. But why are we asking you about those tools? There you see the reason. It's the cat. It's our climate action. It's an online library on climate action tools. We just thought about all the tools that we know, that we use ourselves, or that we even developed in Climate Alliance or together with any other partners. And so we gave them into the hands of our wise librarian Kat. You can visit her and just find tools that might be helpful for you. For example, I thought about one. Well, I thought, what can teachers use most of our tools? So I thought, just enter the topic footprint, and I'm sure you'll find quite some tools that might be useful for you as well. Or just have a look at all of them, and I'm sure you'll find some that are interesting. For example, on SDGs, I'm sure you know the climate stripes, those color stripes that show global warming. And there are tools with those. You can make graphics on very local warming. And so that's something that might be helpful for your work as well. So just have a look at the cat. Ask Cat for help. And if you have other interesting tools that you would like to have into the cat as well, just let us know. But now we want to talk about the e-learnings, about our 2 e-learnings, and Carsten will introduce them to you.
Yes, thank you. As you all know, a lot of talking and politics are going on related to climate. The EU has several targets related to it, and municipalities or even companies are defining climate-related targets, and they are coming fast. So municipalities or countries want to be climate neutral or carbon neutral or carbon zero by, I don't know, 2030, 2035, and so on. So, and this time is coming fast. So we have to move fast, and we have to go fast in the climate issue. And one thing about it is that climate-related knowledge should also be spreading fast, and that was the intention of this project, and also for the e-learnings to use digital possibilities to spread climate knowledge fast. And for that reason, we created 2 e-learnings, one related or called Climate Action Campaigning, and one called Climate Impact Measurement. And yeah, I'll just give you an overview of these 2 separate e-learnings on the next slides. So the first one, Climate Action Campaigning is more or less about communication. So communicate climate issue, but also communication basics, and also climate-related topics in different fields of action, like waste or energy or mobility and so on. And also like with examples from everyday's life. So Claudia also already mentioned mobility examples for kindergartens and schools. And yeah, there are more or less also examples like that in this in this e-learning. Both e-learnings consist of yeah, input, some presentations, some videos, some quizzes or tasks that you have to fulfill, and you could use them from A to Z, so from the beginning to the end, or can just pick the modules or the topics that you would like to know more about. So just try them out. You see the link for both e-learnings down below. So if you want to know about more about how to communicate, how to deal with climate denials, sorry, or maybe how what everyone's could do in related to climate, then this first e-learning might be helpful for you or your target group. The second one, yeah, that these are so is just a glimpse into the inside of the e-learning. The second e-learning is about climate impact measurement. That's more or less also like one of the DNA's things of Climate Alliance. So we as a network, our members in the network are municipalities and cities, and they, when entering the network, they want to reach a different CO2 reduction, a certain CO2 reduction. So that's why we are strongly related to that topic. But these knowledge that we also have put in the e-learning does not only work for municipalities, but also for companies. And you can take every university, every school, every kindergarten as a organization, or also like as a company. So this thinking is somewhat, I think, getting more and more, because also companies are defining climate goals and are reporting, make sustainable reports, and this also works for schools, for example. So in this second e-learning, the emphasis more or less about what measures could you do, what are the effects maybe of measures, how can you yeah, get data also. That's a big issue. And also what are there as digital tools so for your help that you can use. And this is also a direct link to the CAT also. Yeah, and also we always try to be on the practical side and to have examples on everyday's life. So, for example, if you think about life cycle emissions of a shirt or a cup of coffee, what has to be taken into account, for example. Yeah, some of these facts you already know or already have been said. So the courses are available in different languages, in English, German, Italian, and Hungarian. The courses are free of charge, so everyone can use it. You have just to sign up for the courses and then can go on at your own pace, at your when you have time. You could do them from the beginning to the end, or just on certain topics. But if you want to get like a certificate, then you have to get 80% of the tasks in the e-learning. They are called quizzes, so that sounds a little bit nicer. But you have to do the quizzes to get the certificate, and afterwards you can prove that you have done these courses. Yeah, related to this whole topics, we have a lot more information that might be useful for them. So we, in the project, in the cinema project, we made 4 digital climate summits with a lot of participants. Here on this slide, you see the topics. First one was about communication, also the second one, but also like power of communities and networking and their strengths, and also like digital opportunities. There you can find...
Maybe I can just add something, because that might be interesting for you. On the storytelling, we had a poetry slammer from Austria, and she made a poetry slam in German and English. So maybe that's something you might want to use for your lessons.
Yeah, and let's see, the message that we want to share with you all is yeah, everyone can be a climate manager or climate ambassador, and not just. So this is an example also from the e-learning, not just Arnold Schwarzenegger and Greta Thunberg, but everyone could be an ambassador for climate actions or sustainability. And yeah, so if we could give you some background information or some skills via the e-learnings, then we are happy. So yeah, that was our short introduction from the 2 e-learnings. Please check them out if you like. The links are in the presentations. You get them afterwards. Blanca said it. And if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you. Oh, Claudia, do you want to add something?
No, thanks.
Thank you very much. What can I say? Congratulations for a huge work that have you done. And one thing that I really hope is, because teachers shared many tools, as you can see in the chat, they are using like Canva, Padlet, Twinkle, quizzes, everything, that when we ask them next time, which tools do you use, that they will say cinnamon. Cinema videos, that would be really awesome. Yeah, it's so really great what you presented. Thank you very much for the presentation. You actually engage participants very much, because they are still sending in the chat different tools that they are using, for instance. And
cool. Are you?
Here are also congratulations on your presentations, and yeah, and thank you, and very interesting. So, dear participants, they didn't have time to ask questions. That's what I'm trying to say, because they they are busy with sharing their tools. So
will you save the tools for the participants so they can learn from each other, just like we did with the cat?
Yes, exactly. Recordings are online, and there is the conference archive. We also sent a follow-up email, and everything is uploaded on the group. So the access the participants just need their motivation to go there and use. And
Wonderful.
Thank you very much. I hope you come again. So good luck. We move now to Croatia. Natalija, Palčić, welcome once again. Your topic today is financial literacy, and as far as I know, your focus on sustainability. I believe that this will not be just a standard presentation, but it will be connected with, in a way of, sustainable personal decisions or something like that, right? A microphone, Natalija.
I'm sorry. Thank you, Blanca. Yes, that's exactly what you said. It's about youth financial literacy connected with their sustainable financial decisions and what they should think about while making these financial decisions. First of all, I would like to say that I'm grateful to the Forum of Education, free education, which together with Štedopis empowers our educational workers in Croatia on these topics in order to incorporate it in their regular curriculum and to develop necessary competencies that students should have related to sustainability, and especially the financial one. Today, I decided to share with you one of my examples from my working practice, and I hope that it will be useful for you and that you could use it for your everyday work in a classroom. So let's start.
Yep. In the meanwhile, I would like to say to all the participants that the link for the certificate of attendance is in the video description. So go there or search the comments. I just put in the link in the chat, so you can get it either there, either in the video description. All right, we have the presentation here.
Yes.
Good.
So, as I said, I would like to share with you one of my practice examples. And first, I would like to start with what do you think, what is the importance of including these themes of youth financial literacy and green financial literacy into your work with students? You could write it in a chat if you would like to.
Sorry, can you repeat? What do we need to write in the chat?
What do you think? What would be? Why would it be important to include those themes of green financial literacy, responsible social behavior, and responsible management of personal finances with young people? Why the financial literacy is important?
Okay, it takes a bit time to get the chat. So I suggest that maybe you say your thoughts. In the meanwhile, we will see the chat, and I will also prepare a banner on that.
Okay, so that it equips young people with the knowledge and skills that are necessary to make informed money management decisions, and also develops responsible spending habits for young people, prepares them for future financial responsibilities, and also aids in their career planning. And that's my motivation why I like to put those themes into my everyday curriculum, especially in economic part of it. So in this lesson, my learning outcomes are to understand the concept of sustainable financing, to analyze environmental, social, and governance factors in financial decisions, and to make informed investment decisions. So I usually start with financial literacy and what it consists of. So we start with the three important elements of parts of it, like financial knowledge that they get, for example, in school, then financial behavior that they develop, and at the end, financial attitude that they develop according to knowledge and behavior. And it is necessary to make the right financial decisions for the realization of individual well-being, I would say. Usually students continue to say something about those elements. They share their financial behavior, their attitudes, and it's always interesting because they always have to comment something to each other. Later on, we continue with this sustainability part, and I like to share with them this Native American proverb: we do not inherit the earth from our ancestors, we borrow it from our children, and ask them what they think about it. And they have very, very nice comments to say about it. And then we share that the sustainable development is the operation and development of sustainable economic activities by the present generations, who should preserve the natural environment and ensuring the possibility of life for future generations, which is very important. And of course, at the same time, by achieving economic efficiency and social justice. Also, sustainable development should provide solutions for meeting human needs, achieving equality, enabling social acceptance and cultural diversity, while maintaining ecological integrity and embracing development and environmental protection. This is also formally became one of the long-term goals of the European Union, according to Article 3, Paragraph 3 of the Treaty of the European Union. Later on, we continue with these sustainable development goals. I always emphasize that United Nations, as a main body that provides guidelines for sustainable development, presented an Agenda 2030 document in 2015, and its 17 global goals of sustainable development that they plan to achieve by 2030. And here is the plan of the priorities of European Commission and the EU. Later on, we continue with European Green Deal to show that there are some main areas that we should talk about, and later on, on some other occasions, we talk about clean energy, sustainable industry, and other things. But this time, we talk about sustainable finance, which are investments in sustainable economic activities and projects. Then we comment this map, and we continue with the main part of this lesson, and this is acronym for Environmental, Social, and Governance, ESG concept. And it's crucial for assessing and managing sustainability, social responsibility, good governance issues, and also for integration into business strategy by using tools, approaches, and EU regulations and directives. This is something that later on we are going to work on, and this is going to be a task for them, which I usually evaluate later on. But before that, we go through this theoretical part to know something about this team and about the facts that they have to take in consider while working on their task. So this ESG is a set of factors related to environmental, social, and management issues that companies take into account when managing their businesses, and investors take into account when investing regarding their risk, impacts, and opportunities that these factors bring. And students later on act as inventors, and they have to take care about these factors and according to that decide whether they want to invest into company or not, or whether they want to buy something from that company or not. Then we talk about key areas of ESG factors from environmental, social, and governance parts. So they later on easily can recognize whether a company takes care about these key areas or not, whether they would like to have some business with that company or buy things from that company. We usually at the end make a conclusion that it's necessary to find the right balance between economic development, increasing the quality of life of the population, and environmental protection. And that also it's very important and necessary to think about the present and the future in order to preserve this planet where we are as a pleasant and desirable place to live and work, also for the new future generation. We also spent some time on investigating who was awarded by the Croatian Chamber of Economy. And for the last year, we found out that there are some companies that are awarded for their management style because they include care for the environment and society. For the best large company, medium-sized company, small company, and so on. And they usually have some information about these companies and they used to or buy something in those companies, or maybe they have they say that their parents have an account in those banks and so on. But it's good for them to know that in their country there are companies that include this management style in their work. Then we continue to investigate how ESG affects companies and consumers in environmental part, in society part, and in management part. And we put the examples there. Usually students comment and give the examples for each part. That way we make this lesson, we made it in a way so that they don't listen just for a teacher, but they are also included in it. And how it affects consumers, them, for example, in a way that they later on consider sustainable alternatives that take into account environmental, social, and governance elements. They are motivated to learn more about these companies, and they strive to choose financial products and services that are that include all those elements that we were talking about before. And eventually, later on, they get familiar with the existence of EU taxonomy, and they understand better disclosure documents about it. And at the end, I give them this student activity to analyze the ESG factors of the chosen company or society. Then they need to present their investment decisions on a digital Padlet board. Later on, they argue the decision made in a classroom, and they join review of presented investment decisions so that I would like to show you how it looks like. Can you see this teaching worksheet, Blanca?
We see the student activity slide. Then
Okay,
you need
then
to
I
share
will
the
share.
whole screen to present also the activity.
Okay, I will present here some other parts. Let me just here. Can you see it now?
Still no. We still see the slide.
Just the slide. Okay, let me try another way. Share. Can you now see the Padlet?
Just a second. I have no, because there is no screen sharing anymore. So just you and me are on the screen.
Okay. Just a second. Maybe this way.
Yeah. Now it will go. Yeah. Now we see the Padlet.
Okay. This is the work of my students. First, they have a task here in a left angle, which asks them to choose a company or a project for investment. Later on, to investigate ESG factors related to that company and analyze their sustainable practice. Later on, make an investment decision. And fourth is analyze the risks and benefits of this long time decision. And this is what they found out about the companies that they have chosen. Later on, they present it and they comment on each other about what they found good or what they found not good and so on. But it's always interesting to hear what they have found out about that company, what they appreciate, why would they like to work in that company or to buy things from that company or invest into that company. And that way, I would say that they learned best about financial literacy and about sustainable financial decision. And later on, when they make evaluation about this class, they always say they like this way of learning because it makes them think, it makes them investigate, analyze, and conclude about something. So this is something that I wanted to share with you. And in the presentation, there are links that you can use for your classroom. It's a worksheet, and there's also lesson plan. And you can find also these Padlet links so that you can maybe take an idea or something.
Thank you very much.
I hope you find it useful. It's a short time, but I was running through the lesson plan so that you can see as much as possible what we do during usually two classes.
Yeah, of course, that's also the purpose of this conference, just to introduce the tools so that the participants can later dive into deeper and adapt them to their
and if I can say something more, why this can be useful also not only to teach students in a classroom in economics class, for example, but this is also very good for extra or cross-curricular topics. It's perfect for project teaching, research teaching, case studies. I used to do that with my colleagues from other subjects, and it was really good, especially for project teaching. And it's also, it can be connected very good with topic of consumers' rights. It's also very good idea. And this is also good for vocational schools because this topic can be connected with profession. And then you can analyze connections between your profession and this topic. And they find always a lot of connections, and it's interesting to see how students think about it.
I also see it useful for subjects even as a philosophy, for instance,
Yes,
or
definitely,
ethical,
yes.
because, for instance, greenwashing or social washing is,
Yes, yes.
very popular among some corporates, and by this we can actually raise awareness into that as well.
Yes,
So it really
definitely.
in many useful things, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So Natalija, thank you very much. Today the participants are very active in the comments, but with no questions. So
Okay.
I don't know, it's just a coincidence, but both Karsten and Claudia and also you, Natalija, engage them by putting some other things in the comments, so we don't have any questions
Okay.
still. So I encourage dear participants also to ask the questions, and we will answer them in the end of the presentation. So now we run to the next presentation. Maria is with us, and Maria, you can start sharing the screen. Her topic is warming up teaching techniques and embracing constructivism. So welcome once again. We need your presentation, and then we are good to go. Okay, how does it go? It's here.
It's here. Okay.
Yes.
Good. So today I decided.
And just turn on the full screen so that we will have just one slide at a time.
Okay, from the beginning.
Yeah.
I think
No, it's
will
still
be.
not. Okay.
Let's wait.
We still see the whole, so we see more
Only the
slides.
presentation.
Yeah. So maybe go, yeah, just go slideshow and click from beginning, and it will go, probably.
Here is, let's do it
Yeah,
again. Let's do it again.
I don't know what's wrong. Yeah, I saw that you clicked, but okay, then, yeah. Okay, then, do you want me to share your presentation? Would it be better, maybe?
Okay, if it will
If
be good.
something is wrong, yeah, okay, so I will find the presentation in a second, and we will go. All right, yeah. It needs a couple of seconds to upload it, and here it is. So Maria, here you have your presentation.
Thank you again. Today I decided to speak about some theoretical aspects of our working, everyday work as teachers, and behind every teacher is some planning, how to teach. And recently we are forced to embrace constructivism as a theory that was started in 19th century, in 20th even today. And I would like to get a link or find a link between the warm-up activities that we use every day in our classrooms and embracing constructivism, if we there some links or relations. So let's start it. The next slide, please. In this slide, we have key points or the core of the constructivism. And that is that constructivism is a learning theory that says students actively construct their own understanding of the world. Students build knowledge based on their prior experiences and what they already know. And the teacher's role is to guide and facilitate learning, not just the lecturing. Constructivism encourages active, hands-on learning and problem solving. I will stay on this slide and to give some overview of constructivism as a theory that is psychological based, but with the pedagogical goals. What is the constructivism? Constructivism is something that students or learning subjects are viewed as something that is already fulfilled with some knowledge or experience. It means that the students or the subjects are not tabula rasa, but they have prior knowledges. And according to constructivism, they can construct the knowledge according to previous as a base knowledge and make some links and relation to the new knowledge, experiences, information, data imposed by the teachers. That means that the learning process is not sensory reaction process. It means, according to some of the pedagogists, the leading, let's say for Glastenfeld, he says the learning process, according to constructivism, is self-regulating process. What this means? It means that the students or the subject, they receive some new knowledge and they can make their mental construct between the prior knowledge and the new knowledge. This self-regulation, self-regulating process activates higher mental capacity in the students. That means they can make logical implications, they make reflection, abstraction, generalization. It means that this mental construct, they think, according to constructivists, is something that is happening to the student's mind. What this means? That the knowledge is not something into the real world, but it happens only into the student's mind. How we can engage or something to initiate this kind of mental construction into the student's mind by making them students active participant into the knowledge. These are key features of the constructivism. Interrelation with knowledge is something that is happen between the teacher and the students and their mutual interrelation, that the authority of the into the classroom is shared between the teacher and the students. What means by authority? It means that is not only authority of fulfilling the assignments, but also in planning, creating, organizing, and the whole process of creating some materials or lesson plan are shared by the students and the teachers. That makes students active participants, and because of they are active, they are in the knowledge is more enjoyable or learning process. That means that the learning process is something that need to navigate. The teacher is not only the central point and everything is world around the teacher, but it means that the teacher is only facilitator and guide, helps students to find the solution, etc. And the fourth basic feature of the constructivism is that and the knowledge is also a social construct, not only mental construct, but also social. And strengthening the social skills is when the knowledge is gaining into the small group or into the pairs. What do we gain as a teacher? As a teachers from the pedagogical aspect, what do we gain? How the students can gain their knowledge? because of they actively participate into the learning process and the whole organization of the class, not only the fulfilling the task. Then they can principles gain from the constructivist approach are transferable. They can transfer this principle in my classroom to another classroom or another subjects. Also, they learn how to negotiate. Teacher is not only one with authoritative person, authoritative role into the classroom, but teacher also negotiate with the students, and the students learn how to negotiate between them as if they work as a group or into the small group or a pair. So this kind of pedagogical approach into the teaching process make differences from the traditional classroom to the this classroom according to constructivist approach. What are the main differences? The main difference is not only accent on this, the teachers from the constructivist approach, they don't hang on the curriculum strongly, this kind of teaching methods. They are not strongly on the curriculum strict, and they go from the simplest to the more complex problem, but constructivists, they go from the key concept, and then they make links with the external parts or external sides. That means that the students are not already inert, but they are active, and classroom is dynamic environment. These are some of the constructivist teaching methods. We can use discussion, collaboration. Students work together to explore, to understand new ideas. This is how they learn. They have some knowledge, but also we as a teachers make them or force them to questioning, to explore, to assess something, and to gain new ideas. Then problem-based learning, students tackle a real-world problem to construct knowledge. Previous presentations were very good source of primary sources. They have something on from the World Bank in economics, or climate change, or climate treaty. Those are the core primary source, and working with the real world problems is also constructivist valuable teaching methods. Scaffolding, teacher provides support to help students reach next level understanding, scaffolding the questioning area, environment, because according to constructivists, they think that knowledge is not only as a rote mental memorization, but also social knowledge, and this scaffolding, it is example of that. Answer the instruction learning is centered around engaging authentic problem. These are authentic problems, real world problems, primary sources, etc. Next slide, please. This theoretical aspect, I want to link to the warming up activities. We need to warming up sometimes, and we need to slow down them sometimes into the classroom, but every of those activities have some constructivist, let's say, part in these activities, in these projects. We can start warming up activities with the hook, something with a video, maybe quote, some article title, etc., to grab student attention and interest. We can use a variety of activities to energize, to engage students at the start of the class, and relate the lesson to the students' prior knowledge an experience to get students to talk, interacting with each other in the right way. When we use warm-up activities, we want to not to intimidate the students, but to provoke them to share some of their personal experiences, previous knowledge. The warm-up activities are usually fun, interactive, communicative. They are short, 10 to 15 minutes, but also they energize the whole, they focus, but also they energize the students. Benefits of the warming up. If we use them, we have benefits into the classroom. Those are increases student attention and focus, helps students make connections to prior. This is constructivist part. Boost energy and engagement, and prepare students for more active hands-on learning. We can use various warm-up techniques. If you type warm-up activities, you have the vast majority of the warm-ups. These are group of those warm-up activities, like discussion questions, short video and animations, quick review games and or activities, through provoking prompts or scenarios connecting to the lesson, to the student's life. Everything that we can use from the stories, videos, presentation, quizzes, many type of even teacher can be used as a figure or the role to warm up the students with discussion, debate, put the students on to make a stand on some article, thought, idea, let's say some real world problem, etc. Let's combine all those things. So what we gain, combine constructivist teaching methods with effective warm-up activities, engage students right from the start to set a tone for an interactive, student-centered lesson, guide and facilitate rather than just lecturing. Teacher, you see, is only guide and help students to make those kind of problems or make them decision makers to be, and encourage students to actively construct their own understanding. We can, next slide please. We can invite our colleagues into our plan to make warm-up activities to teach how they use, how we can connect with the constructivist principles. We can share with the partner to get the feedback and be ready to discuss your warm-up activities and how it supports students' learning. The next, we can have something to remember. Constructivists empower students to take an active role in their learning. Next, warm-up activities can energize and engage students right from the start. And combining these two, constructivist method and effective warm-ups, lead to the deeper, more meaningful learning. There are many teaching approaches from constructivist theory. First is inquiry-based. You can see the four phases of inquiry-based learning. What we gain with this kind of approach, inquiry-based learning, is a constructivist approach to encourage students to explore, investigate, and discover knowledge on their own. This is the constructivist part. To questioning, to explore, assess, and to make their decision. Students start with a question, problem, or scenario, then use critical thinking skills to find solutions. The teacher acts as a facilitator, guiding students to the inquiry process. This approach develops important skills like problem solving, creativity, and independent learning. This kind of independent learning is crucial for constructivists. They think that every learning, every understanding is unique. Every student have unique unique way to gain or to acquire knowledge. The next slide is the experiential learning. Constructivists think that not only mental construct, but mental construct through the experience. Because what is the experience? Experience is also kind of knowledge gaining. Experiential learning is a constructivist method that involves learning through direct experience and reflection. You can use mini experiment into the classroom, use everything you have or you can find in your classroom, or you can make students to bring some objects that is valuable for them and make a warm-up warm-up activity from their object or personal items. Students actively engage in hands-on activity, projects, and real-world applications. They reflect on their experiences to develop new understanding and skills. This approach helps students make meaningful connection to the material. Next, we can incorporate also technology. It means digital technology. The first presentation was the application of e-learning for the climate change, but we use every day digital tools or even today AI to make or to invoke something as interest or focus in the students. What is assessment according to constructivist approach? Assessment is something that is based or it is focused on the process, not only on the results. We can assess through for portfolios, presentations, project-based assessments, self-reflection, etc. You have here some jokes about our critical skills that we want to promote in our students. Next slide, we can put it all together, the warm-up and constructivist approach. We can integrate constructivist method like inquiry-based and experiential learning with effective warm-up activities. We can use technology to enhance active student-centered learning. We can access students' understanding through a variety of formative assessment. It means that the assessment is ongoing process to the constructivist classroom. And we can remember that our role is to guide, facilitate, not only to deliver on the information. We can encourage our students to take an active role in constructive in their own knowledge. And at least these are my warm-ups that I use or I was used in classroom. I use Google Earth for educational purposes. I use quizzes and other digital tools. I use Adobe Express to make animation or avatar for me, and sometimes avatar replace me. I put all those videos on YouTube though, and other teachers can use, etc. So that was everything for it was the quickest way, but it was because it is theoretical aspect, but we managed something.
Important, you know, because for us as teachers, we can many times go into the routine and then we forget about
only practice. Yes,
exactly. But on the other hand, for students, every time is actually the single time, and they need, you know, this connection and
we need to put into the students' shoes how they will create their own understanding. So this is crucial, not only how we practice, how we can use digital tools, only we professionally must do these things, but also we need to promote active role from the students' part.
Exactly, yeah. So thank you very much, Maria, for your work and reminding us about constructivism and also encouraging us to use it in our teaching routine so that in our case it becomes a practice to use constructivism as much as possible. So now we move to Alina. Hello. And to your topic, project-based learning and digital education, so well-being through arts and communication. Let's see your presentation. It's here, yeah. So it's the magazine.
Hello again. First of all,
Now the connection is a bit, yeah, connection is not good, Alina. So we don't hear you. So I suggest that maybe you try and find, yeah, does it go now? Or Alina,
you
maybe
can't
we
hear
can,
me?
yeah, Alina, okay, do we hear each other now? No,
Now,
no, we
can you
cannot
hear me?
hear. Yeah, okay, now we can hear you, but maybe it's the best way that I share your presentation, because in the second when you upload your presentation, there are problems here. So if you
Can you hear
agree,
me
I
now?
can. Ah, yeah, hello? Yes, we hear you.
Hello. I don't know what. Oh, finally. Thank you. First of
Yeah.
all, I want to propose you to answer a question. How many of you have been developing e-twinning projects under this wide umbrella of Erasmus Plus program? And eventually, why? Which is your motivation?
Okay, so type
But meanwhile,
type in the comments, type in the chat, yes, if you have already been involved in e-twinning project. You can also share with us thoughts, what is your main motivation for participating in e-twinning projects. All right.
and now to present Vivac. Vivac Europe is in fact an e-training project developed together with Croatia and Turkey. It's about a collaborative project that started in fact from the e-training annual imperative theme of the year and the legislative initiatives at European levels. We wanted to, through these activities involved, integrated into this project, to increase the students' well-being at school, of course, their school motivation, and implicitly the graduation rate of the final exams, involving a lot of reading, a lot of independent and individual work. As you can see, our work was already awarded with a quality label, but also with a new title of book creator ambassador. Here you can see our aims. In fact, we aimed at tackling and developing the so-called sustainable development goals. The fourth one focused on quality education, and the third one on health and well-being, of course. Developing a lot of activities, exploring and addressing the opportunities that exist in our curricula of the language, of the Romanian language and literature. We propose to make use of arts and good communication. Also in partnering with other stakeholders, a lot of NGOs, we've succeeded, I think, to engage the local students, raising awareness, freedom of represents for our physical, emotional, and mental health. Finally, resolving this virtual product called Vivac, in fact, a symbolical final result, symbolical medicine, a symbolical medicine meant to heal us from our emotional disorders, from our traumas, in fact, and transforming ourselves in whole-rounded personalities. I have to mention that our initial starting point was the student needs analysis, and of course the insight of the e-twinning annual theme reports, the official documents made public by World Health Organization that underlines the potential value of arts in general in contributing to the core determinants of health. Regarding the ways of integrating the activities, non-formal activities especially, into our curriculum, I have to mention that through stimulating these curricular and extracurricular or transcurricular competencies appropriate for each high school level, we've initiated activities involving reading, comprehension, and interpretation of the texts, organizing formal and non-formal workshops meant to develop our students' communication and critical thinking competencies in the larger framework of this European larger framework of the 21st competencies, reading as life skills workshops, integrating project-based learning, the so-called PBL, during our classes of language and literature. In fact, we've tried to take into account the newly gained information in the Erasmus Plus project, developing activities on communication and arts, engaging the young students in meaning, non-formal activities, able to offer them the possibility to express themselves freely in a variety of ways as whole dignified human beings, able of their cultural innate and non-innate heritage, helping them to become European active citizens with independent personalities based on our previous project experiences, organizing and developing activities on 21st competencies workshops on trauma from life to literature, resilience workshops, workshops on the Romanian crafts, creative writing outdoor workshops, a step forward, literature revision on stereotypes and prejudices, being ambassadors of inclusion, organizing also outdoor activities, and of course being volunteers in our local volunteering actions as meals for the poor. We've never neglected the online security and of course we need. So we remember that the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. The second best time is now. But we've also cooked for our peers. Of course, we proposed some forms, some quizzes and surveys on this topic of competencies developed through volunteering, and the students answered with a lot of enthusiasm. We get all the results in the link below. We've started from the 2 volunteering actions on meals for on preparing the food for our peers, and from organizing workshops on mărțișoare, local Romanian tradition, very well known. In fact, we've succeeded in organizing a March auction for this charitable cause, integrating the symbolical importance, symbolical significance of this Romanian tradition called mărțișor. We've also developed workshops on brain attack awareness, making use of some materials donated by local NGOs, remembering that the brain is a wonderful organ. It starts working the moment you get up in the morning and does not stop until you get into the office, quoting from Robert Frost. We've remembered, becoming serious, that self-care is not selfish at all. It's very necessary for our good health to be, first of all, careful with your own state of being. We've integrated arts as especially in fact the art of words, namely literature, the art of sounds, music, and the art of colors, painting, into the classroom, realizing in fact, first of all, the harmonious dialogue between arts, and having in our mind the eternal syncretism among them. Of course, we celebrated Europe on the 9th of May, organizing some workshops. We imagine, in fact, in this context, we wondered which would be the country we would like to live in, besides Romania. And we remember that we have a lot of relatives, close relatives in Europe, and eventually Romania, in fact, is the best country to live in. We've organized workshops on the importance of games, becoming aware, raising awareness on the benefits of games in general, writing argumentative text, and of course preparing ourselves for the role of a parent. If we now the involvement of our evening classes students, we shouldn't forget about these workshops on the 21st key competencies, where we talked a lot about our jobs and our dossier, our necessary, so useful dossier of employment. So you learned to write CV, Europass curriculum vitae, and got aware. We raised awareness and realized the importance of being prepared to be inserted in the market of the marketplace. Of course, we organized also bullying workshops, raising awareness on the effects of bullying, working in teams, drawing, and trying to destroy our stereotypes that can lead to prejudices. We've also illustrated bullying in comics and colleges, never forgetting to celebrate traditions, Romanian traditions on Christmas or Easter. Working all this time on inclusion, but I think it's enough.
Alina,
you can see this final virtual product.
How long
one
was
whole
this
year,
e-twinning?
in fact.
Yeah.
This e-twinning project lasted just a school year, one school year, yes. But we've also, based on our previous experiences, so we've linked them. Yes.
I see that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah,
if you have,
you must be very experienced
questions,
because you included so many activities in just one project. So congratulations, and you saw the well-being from different perspectives. So that's very good. And we also showed the all the examples of the magazine that you have done within the e-twinning among 3 countries. Thank you, Alina, very much for your presentation. I see you have admirers also in our community, so they are congratulating you for
Thank you a
the
lot.
work.
Thank you a lot.
And congratulations for also the quality labels that you received. Well done.
Thank you a lot. You can use this magazine as a pedagogical tool.
Yes,
you can take from it everything you consider useful. So thank you a lot, Blanca, for this opportunity, for this new opportunity to collaborate.
Thank you very much. Yes, the presentation is on the Pan-European Conference on Digital Education Facebook group. You can download it and use it as an inspiration for your, not necessarily just e-twinning projects, but for your everyday practice, because it's a rich source how to introduce students to well-being and combine it with the communication and art. That leaves us to the last presentation. So, yeah, Aneja, welcome also.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. Yes, Aneja has a presentation on design thinking for teachers. Maria would call that a constructivism approach to teaching, but yes, that's also part of it. In the meanwhile, I invite you to also evaluate the conference, because it's important to receive the feedback so that we follow that we follow to your feedback, and that we can respond with our work and change something or preserve something. It's also good to know if you say to us, yes, leave the things as they are. So please use the link which is in the chat to evaluate the conference. Okay, Aneja, the floor is yours now.
Oh, thank you. And yes, hello again from my side, as Blanca already told you, and we are going to dive a little bit into the service design thinking, specifically for teachers. And the presentation that I'm having is also related to Erasmus Plus project called Hiatus, which is in the final stages now. So just a few words about the project. Why did we do it? What was the intention? So actually Hiatus, the word Hiatus comes from Italian word, like a bridge, a gap. And the idea of this project was to put a bridge over the gap between the school and the work culture. So the general objective was actually to develop a teaching methodology that could be used in schools. And that methodology would use designing skills and implementation of products or services. We will dive a little bit later on what service design thinking is. So yeah, within this project, there are 3 main project results. I would also encourage you to look at and check. Maybe there is something for you that you could use in schools. And the first one is the service design thinking e-learning platform. And in this platform, you have materials that you can use, and you can also adapt based on what you are teaching. During this project, we had service design thinking learning courses applied in different countries with different age groups, as well as with teachers and working professionals that with professionals that also work in educational sector. And the resulting preparation is the ebook about service design thinking methodology and this experimentation at schools. So if you want to know a little bit more about the project, you can check it out. And also I would encourage to use the ebook and the methodology that was designed. But first and foremost, what is design thinking? Maybe some of you have already learned about it. Maybe some of you are already using it. But in short, this is a methodology that focuses on finding solutions. It can be for one or more problems, and the focus should be on the user. This way, it offers an innovative approach, and it also allows you to think outside of the box. And if you look at the slides, you can see an example of a picture of what design thinking is not. Because if this were to be designed using the design thinking methodology, it would be more focused on the user. And you can see on the picture, the user experience is something completely different than what design was first laid out to be. And so, yeah, there are 5 stages of the design thinking. We will go through all of the stages one by one. But first, just the stages are empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and then test. And what is service design thinking? Usually, or let's say firstly, design thinking methodology was used to create products. It was like how we can create a product that is focused on the user. And the service design thinking just switches the product to the service. So the phases are the same, it's only the perspective that is a little different. And in the Hiatus project, what we have done is we went through all the 5 original phases, and at the end, we put a 6th phase, which is an innovative way of use of service design thinking, and that would be the phase Empathize 2.0. And the techniques are the same as for the Empathize 1.0, but it's more to analyze the proposed solution or the prototype rather than, let's say, the first, when you empathize in the first way. So yeah, I now have prepared, we have now prepared the presentation. How would it look like to apply the service design thinking in school context? So now we're going to explore a bit the purpose of different phases, and as well I will provide you an example, and this can be in any way adapted to anything that you are doing at school, or adapted to your class, or even to some other workshops that could be. But here, since it is coming from the Hiatus project, the example is going to be done about this bridge between schools and the labor market. So the first phase, the empathize, this phase, it's all about exploring the user experience in the real environment. So it is, the first thing is the observation of the users in the real environment. That can be done, for example, in smaller groups or larger groups, depends on what you are trying to research. So if our example is preparing the students for the labor market, and we have to understand, firstly, what is the student's perspective on career preparation? What are their current skills, and what they need to know, what they need in order to succeed in a labor market? So this is actually the research part, and what would be a possible approach is actually conduct the interviews and the surveys with the students to learn about their career aspirations, anxieties. Here, our focus group, are the students, and we can assume what they would need, but conducting the interviews and surveys, it's actually more about learning their point of view, what they have to say, what skills they lack, where they want to develop. So that would be the phase one, conducting the research and gathering as much information as possible. Then the second phase is analyzing all the data that you have. So, and this analyzing the data is not generating solutions. That comes later on. Analyzing the data is actually to define the problem. And one of the very useful methods is the fishbone diagram, which you can see right here. And the fishbone diagram is very good because it always asks the main question: why? Why is this happening? And as I said, through the second phase, defining, you go through different topics that you, for example, if you were conducting interviews, you could do it in 4 different ways, like focusing on education system, of the lacking practical skills, of awareness, and lacking on hands-on experience. And basically, when you conduct the interviews and when you do the analysis, you can, let's say, you can get at least one defined problem that can happen. And then on this problem, you can then later work on. So here, the defined problem is students lack practical skills and confidence to transition from education to employment. And also, they are unaware of labor market and expectations. So now we have concluded the phase 2. We have a definition of our problem. And then comes the third phase. And the third phase is to generate ideas. It's the brainstorming phase. And what is very important about this phase is here you do not evaluate suggestions. Here you do not evaluate suggestions. You encourage wild ideas. You take one idea and then you build on that idea. What you need to be focused is you need to stay focused on the topic, and your role as a teacher would be, to keep everyone focused on the topic. You can be visual, you can write down, go for quantity. The more the ideas, the better. And as I said, encourage wild ideas, because these firstly seemingly ridiculous ideas might have some underlying factor that you can use later on when preparing in the next pages. So I would say you can limit yourself later. This phase, the third phase for brainstorming phase, is write down all the ideas. The more the merrier. And again, encourage wild ideas, because when you maybe also with that, when you encourage that they step out of the regular box, they actually, at first, what happens is they start producing some ridiculous ideas, and then later on they kind of, when they, let's say, release this pressure that they have to do it in a certain way, more and more ideas come through, and they are more usable later on. So again, focusing on the example, preparing students for the labor market, the goal of this phase is to generate creative ideas for activities to help students develop labor market skills. And the approach is actually to just organize brainstorming sessions with the students, but also with educators, career advisors, employees. So yeah, all together, because different perspectives can generate different ideas, and different competences can build on these ideas differently. So that is a good brainstorming session, to have as many people with different skill sets as possible. And then we come to the fourth phase, that is the prototype. Now that we have analyzed everything, we have defined the program, we have defined the problem, we have ideas. Now it's the time to experiment with the ideas. And how do we experiment with the ideas? By building a prototype. And the prototype is early sample model, and it has to be very simple, just to test the concept of process and to try to act on it as a thing, and then you can replicate or learn from it. And the main guidelines for the prototype is it should be done quick. Don't spend too much time on the details, because the more you spend time on the details, the more you start to think about it, the more time it consumes, and the less you test it. And the idea of the prototype is to put them into practice as soon as possible, because when you put them into practice, you can easily get their feedback, and it would be much easier to understand the needs, and even if you went into the right direction. So, and also when you're creating a prototype, the prototype actually creates the conversation. So that's the discussion with users. And remember, the prototypes are alive. For the prototypes, there's always room for improvement based on the needs. And once you understand the needs, the prototype can adapt. What is also important is to identify the important touch points. And the prototypes can be anything. It can be something written, written, made out of Lego. And yes, but the main goal is they are quick and they are simple and they don't consume a lot of time, and you don't spend so much time on the details. So if I go back, our example is preparing students for the labor market. And the possible approach for the prototyping phase is actually create the outlines. For example, the draft versions of the workshops, like the templates for the CV writing activities, or small-scale versions of the job shadowing program, mentoring initiative. It's like based on the generated ideas, you then create a prototype. And once you have, for example, the draft outline of the workshop, then you can use this prototype for further on. And then is the test. So once you have the created prototype, you assume that this is a good solution, but what you have to do, you have to test it. This test, the fifth phase, is to evaluate and request feedback. So when you do it, ask users for feedback on the prototypes. Once you have this feedback, you incorporate feedback. And as I said, the prototypes are alive and they can adapt. And then you go to the previous steps, you correct them, and then you repeat the cycle. And with the design thinking and service design thinking, do not forget the focus is on the user. If you do not help the user, then it's like the first picture that I showed you, when it was just focused on a design, but it was not focused on the user experience. So yeah, the goal of this phase is to test the prototypes with students, gather the feedback, refine the activity based on their responses. One possible approach could be to run piloting programs with small groups of students, do that and observe their engagement, learning outcomes, and then gather feedback either through surveys, interviews, maybe real-time observation, having evaluations, having reflections. Focus on also understanding how they feel about the activities and how useful they find them. Because you can design a prototype for a good workshop, but if they don't feel they're useful for them, then this test fails. So you have to reevaluate, and this is why the feedbacks are important. And then the sixth phase, as I said before, the design thinking process consists of 5 phases, and we added the 6th phase during the Hiatus project, and this is the Empathize 2.0. This phase is very similar to the first Empathize, and it uses the research techniques from the first steps. So the techniques are the same. But what is different about this phase is that you analyze the social impact of the proposed prototype. So like the first phase was to just focus on the user, define a problem, but here you focus on the social impact of proposed prototype and how it matches the perceived needs of the target users. So here the useful method, for example, would be a living lab. And a living lab is an approach where you want to get feedback of the quality of our idea prototype from different key stakeholders. So there are the target groups, the target users, decision makers, companies, general population, gathered all together, and actually then you can get a more useful feedback about that. And yeah, that would be, for example, if we go again on our example, so preparing the students for the labor market, and the goal would be to check whether the planned activities are truly useful for the students and if they are in line with realities of the schools and the labor market, because sometimes you have an idea what could work, but then the reality is completely different. So the possible approach, as I said, is to organize a local living lab, have it in schools, invite students, invite potential employers, other decision makers, teachers, parents, municipality people, anyone that you would feel could benefit from that and could provide you a good feedback. So this way you can get their opinion on the prototype through interactive activities. And yeah, this way I have concluded all the 6 steps of service design thinking in schools.
Thank you very much. One important message from your presentation is that when we get a problem, when we usually start with brainstorming, but actually that's not a good way to start, right? Because then we start with solutions and maybe too early. So the message of design thinking is to take the time and actually empathize with our end users, our students, etc. Depends on the target group we are working on. Aneja, thank you very much also for your presentation.
And thank you, Blanca.
Okay, so this was the October's conference on digital education. The next edition is on the 28th of November. I invite you to submit your presentation in our regular call for presenters, and I thank you for your commitment for professional learning and happy teaching, right? So see you next time.